Welcome to another episode of the Broker to Broker Real Estate Podcast. I am here today with a really special guest, and we're going to be talking about gaining agent referrals inside your organization through the relationships that you have with your current partners. So buckle up. Let's get started. Welcome to the Broker to Broker Real Estate Podcast, where we have real, raw conversations with industry leaders, finding out how to connect, support, lead, and ultimately make an impact and drive results in the lives of your agents. I'm your host, Nathan Daniel, and welcome to the show. Now, before we get started, I want to do something just a little bit different because this episode is actually possible today by a connection that was made to me through our partner over at Total Brokerage. So let's hear from Total Brokerage as our sponsor on this episode today. Are your agents happy with the tools you provide them? Do you offer a CRM, marketing, transaction management, e-signature, commission tracking, and reporting? Do you want to compete with the national franchises on technology? At Total Brokerage, they specialize in helping real estate organizations level up with modern technology in an all-in-one platform, trusted by countless brokerages across the world, recognized by Inman, Captura, T360, and Gartner. If you want more free time, you don't know how well your brokerage is doing, and you want to spend less time in spreadsheets and jumping between multiple different software tools, check out Total Brokerage today. Go to demo.totalbrokerage.com and mention Nathan Daniel for your first month for free. All right. So thank you to our sponsor today, Total Brokerage. Now let's jump in and let's talk to our guest. We're headed all the way to Athens, Georgia. We're talking to James Hamby with Southern Classic Realtors. James, welcome to the show.
Good morning. Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
And thanks to Total Brokers. They're the best. I love them.
Yeah, they're awesome. And so you're in Athens, Georgia. I'm going to just throw that out there right now at the time of this recording, like home of the Dogs, right?
Home of the Dogs, number one football team in the country.
Yep. That's right. Yeah. So anyway, so Athens, Georgia, thank you for being on the show. And today we're talking about gaining agent referrals through relationships. And before we get to the topic, I always like to open it up and let our audience hear from you. Tell us about yourself, James.
Well, I'm very passionate, number one, about our real estate industry we're in. I've been in the business close to 20 years. I love what we do. I love helping buyers and sellers buy and sell. And I enjoy developing, like you said earlier, the relationships with my agents in order to help them succeed in this business. So, again, I'm just blessed to be here. I'm blessed to have the opportunity to think a lot of times outside the box. I'm not so traditionally set like others, but I do enjoy what we do and love being in Athens and love our dogs.
There you go.
And actually, to be quite honest with you, I love people, and I think that's what it's about. Our real estate business is not about real estate; it's about people.
That's exactly right. I agree with that. And you're doing a really good job of building your organization right now. I know you're growing like crazy. And now you started the organization. You started Southern Classic Realtors, 11 years ago now?
Yes, sir. 11 years ago. I always like to say I birthed this baby out of the ground. I started from scratch. I didn't buy it. I didn't inherit it. As a matter of fact, today still have the very first agent I hired 11 years ago.
Wow, that is awesome. And just so you know, everybody listening right now, literally as we got on the call, James was actually onboarding an agent right before we did this call. So I know he had another one that just joined him. So anyway, that takes some diligence, right? Being around for 11 years and growing. And I know we've mentioned relationships, and we're talking about gaining agent referrals through relationships today. So let's talk about your growth. Let's talk about your relationships that you have with your agents.
Yep. Well, I think it's very important that you develop a strong relationship. And the cool thing is you never want an agent to ever leave you for something you said you would do and you didn't do. And that is something I've always done in my career. We tell you we're going to do something, we do it. And at the end of the day, when the agents start building that trust, they're going to let you know. When we get into relationships with the agents and then they want to share the good news, if you will, then they've got to feel comfortable when they share that good news that I'm going to be able to follow up with that. Mm-hmm. Because it's just like a referral. You know, if I refer somebody to do something, I want to make sure that person does a good job because it reflects back on me. So if my agent puts their neck out on the line to say, hey, give so and so a call, I think they'd be a great fit to our company. I got to make sure that I'm going beyond the call of duty to take care of them because my agent's neck is on the line and they trust that where I'm concerned.
Okay. All right. Well, now, and just for context, like I want to ask a question. If you don't want to share this, you don't have to. But like, how many agents do you have right now? Because you're a virtual model, correct?
Yeah,
You're a
I'm
virtual
a
model.
virtual model all over the state of Georgia.
Okay. And how many agents do you currently have?
We're just shy of 400 agents.
Right now, you're shy of 400 agents. And the reason I'm asking this question, so it's context for everybody out there, your staff that you have is actually pretty small, isn't it?
Yeah.
How many people do you have on staff right now?
Including myself, we have 5 total people.
Okay, so you have 5 total people supporting the 400 agents right now, and you're continuing to grow. And the
Right.
reason I wanted to ask that question is because how are you protecting your time to make sure you can do what you say you're going to do and go above and beyond the call of duty, like you just said?
Well, it's really funny. Your commercial with Total Brokerage, your sponsor,
Uh-huh.
their program helps us be more efficient.
Okay.
And that's in a nutshell. I have relationships with a lot of different real estate companies throughout the state. And I see a lot of companies that are operating off of 4, 5, 6 platforms. Well, my relationship with Ben and Michael with Total Brokerage is I narrowed all that down to one platform. So it makes us be more efficient in everything we do inside of our company.
Okay.
So I don't need 15 or 20 people running an agency of 400 agents.
Gotcha.
By
Okay.
the way, with that number, we've done over 2,800 transactions this year.
Yeah.
So it's not like we're just doing a little bit of business. We're ranked in the top 1% of all brokerage firms in the state of Georgia themselves.
Yeah.
It's pretty impressive.
Well, yeah, and that's the reason that I want to ask that because making sure that you have good systems in place in order to maintain these relationships, right? And if you don't, then what can happen, right?
Well, you're not going to reach your goals.
Yeah. Well, and you can get bogged down, right? You can get bogged down in kind of the weeds of stuff and constantly running that battle. I think having those automation, having that system in place or any system out there to help you facilitate the conversations and relationships is super, super important. So that's the reason I wanted to ask that.
Yeah.
Now,
Nathan, if I can interject one thing real quick.
Yeah.
Because I am a virtual company, I don't have traditional brick and mortar, right? So about 8 years ago, I established a closed group on Facebook strictly just for my agents, and I call it Southern Classic Peeps, right? Peeps, Southern Classic Peeps. And that allows my agents all over the state of Georgia. And this month, we just went into South Carolina as well. So I've already got 2 agents in South Carolina in my company as well. So this enables our agents as a collective whole to come together in a closed group environment, and they can discuss anything amongst themselves they wish to. Then the beauty of that is also the referral networking there too.
Mm-hmm.
I have an agent in North Georgia that wants to refer somebody in South Georgia, which is 4 or 5 hours apart. That closed group instantly gives everybody credibility. And so,
Gotcha.
you know how much that cost me to do that?
Yeah. Nada. It's a system. Use the power of groups. Okay.
Yes.
So let's talk about this because over the last 11 years, like you're experiencing growth and you've done it in a way that's not traditional, right? Not reaching out or anything like that in a traditional manner. You've really done it through the relationships with your agents. So
my success has been based upon really my agents helping me grow.
Okay. So let's start here. The first question I have for you is how do you have that conversation with your agents asking them for referrals?
It actually begins in the very beginning because the success of our company is based upon the success of our agents. Without my agents, I don't have a company. And sometimes I think companies in general think if it wasn't for the company, the agent would have a job. I have a different mindset. If it wasn't for them with me, I'm out of business, right?
Yeah.
And so in the very beginning, when I actually hire the agent, I want them to understand, listen, when you're involved with an agent that's dynamic, I want to know who they are because I want to be in business with good business-minded people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I work on that with them and set their mindsets. So in their mind, I'm setting their parameters up front. You do a deal with somebody, you like them, let's get them on board with us, right?
Yeah.
And for that, you know, and we could talk about this another time, but I do have a complete 100% financial model. So I don't give profit sharing. I don't give stock options. But if somebody does help me grow, I reward them by giving them their next monthly fee for free. So it's just a way of me saying thank you for helping us grow. Take your family out to dinner. Take them to a sporting event and enjoy that. But my success is really based upon the success of my agents helping me grow. The key with that is taking care of them. If I don't take care of them, again, like I mentioned earlier, we don't do the same. They're not going to help me grow. They're not going to tell people the good news, if you will, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Right.
really important that those relationships are established with my agents first and foremost, and then they'll do the work for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then you set up you got the Facebook group, you're pouring into them. Now, how are you staying in communication with your agents and keeping this top of mind with them?
Yep. I mass email a lot. Not to the point where it's just overwhelming and overbearing, but I do that and through a little company called Mobile Mix. I can send out 4 or 5 group text messages a month. But that social media platform is huge because when I onboarded an agent like I did this fellow just a few minutes ago before we got on our call,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna blast that out on social media. I'm gonna put it on Facebook. I'm gonna put it on Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter. I'm gonna blast it everywhere. So that gives them notoriety and helps that agent. Wow, my broker's already saying, um, you know, they're already part of our company, the Southern Classic, right? Um, I like to celebrate their first and second closes. When you're getting 100% of your money, and this is not 100% with caps or with transaction fees or splits or royalty fees. This is 100% of their money. It's a big deal. And when they walk away with that, they feel good about what they've done,
Right.
right?
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. So right off the bat, you're sending, and I want to make sure I haven't heard of that. Mobile mix. Is that what you said?
Mobile Mint. Yeah,
Okay.
my church does it.
Okay. All
I
right.
learned that one from, right?
All right. So listeners, check the show notes below. I'm going to go out and actually research this and find the link, and I'll make sure the link's down in the show notes. So you
Yep.
can check out Mobile Mix if you need to. Um, and then you said celebrate, right? From the moment that they start with you until their first closing, second closing, you're staying and celebrating their wins.
Absolutely.
So you're being conscious. I hear you being conscious of what they're doing.
Yes. The word passion earlier is I become part of their lives. I want to have that relationship. I don't know what they're doing with their extra money that they normally would give that to somebody else. I want to know what their bucket list is. I want to know what's going on in their kids' lives, and we work hard at that because the relationship is the key. You
Yeah.
know, um,
Okay.
you just
So
you just got to engage with those folks on a personal level. And then when you do that, you build that relationship, they trust you, they're going to tell everybody.
all right. So engage on a personal level. All
Mm-hmm.
right. So let's start talking about this. Like, how are you actually asking them for the referrals, right? Like you've poured into them, you're celebrating them, you're in relationship with them and
Mm-hmm.
celebrating, right? When they
Yeah,
have big wins. Now, how are you asking them? How are you asking them? What conversations are you asking them?
I'm pretty direct.
Okay.
you know, the success of our company being around 20 years down the road is the success of them helping me grow. Do you want, if I was a firm of 8 or 10 agents, there's nothing wrong with being a small firm. But in my model, I'm shooting for 1,000 agents, then 2,000. Then the success of what we do and the longevity depends on my agents helping me grow. So without them helping me, I don't listen. I'm not a stockbroker. I don't want to get on the phone and call a list and go down through XYZ Realty and call their top producing agents down to whatever. That's not my thing.
Right.
Don't
Right.
want to do it. I want to be involved on local board events, be involved in the community. I don't like,
Okay.
for example, Valdosta is 4 hours away. I'll drive to a Border Realtors event in Valdosta, and when I get there, there'll be other brokers locally right there, not even at that event.
Not at the event. Yeah.
What
Yeah.
does that tell the agents down
Yeah.
there? It tells them that I care about, number one, my agents, and number two, supporting their event in their community. And so I'm part of that. 4 hours away.
Mm-hmm. So as far as the conversation, like, ask me, like, if role play with me, if I'm an agent,
Okay.
I'm one of your agents, um,
Sure.
call me up and ask me for a referral. How are you going about doing that?
Hey, Nathan, just wanted to see how things are going with you today. I'm very excited that just recently had 2 or 3 closings with our company. Hey, by the way, when you have those closings and they're good people, do me a favor, be proactive and get me their name and number. And let me call them and see if our company's the right fit for them. So I'm going to ask you directly.
Okay.
Go ahead and listen. Now, if you don't like them, if they're a pain in the butt and they're too much drama, I don't want them. Right?
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So if you really enjoyed that relationship with working with that, because it's a co-op,
Mm-hmm.
2 real estate agents working together for the betterment of the buyer and the seller,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And if we're doing that and you like them, you see them, I don't. They're 2 hours away, 4 hours away, whatever it is. If that's who we want part of our company, then help me with that. So it's just a little education of teaching the agent what we're looking for.
Yeah.
Because obviously they're here. If they're here and their business is like-minded to what we're looking for, they know what I want.
Yeah.
So
So
Nathan, if I'm on that phone with you, if you come across that person, listen, do not give them my name and number. They're
okay.
not going to call me. I want you to give me their name and number. Then
Yeah.
I'm going to call that agent and say, hey, exactly what you're saying. It's going to warm up that call.
Yeah, how does it warm the call up? Like because that's important. When we were having a conversation earlier, it's important for this piece right here because it was so much easier. Like when I was in the recruiting role, when a
Mhm.
call was warmed up for me. So let's walk through
Absolutely.
that. How do you have them warm the call up for you?
Well, nobody likes a cold call. Most of the time, a cold call, we all are going to do it. We're going to hang up. We're not interested. We're going to hang up. So if the relationship between my agent and the future recruiting opportunity agent is there, I hopefully will let them reach out and say, hey, do you have any issue? James gives us a call. When they walk away from the closing table, we do a disbursement authorization so the agent gets paid at the closing table. And I think about one of my agents. She always says, I'm getting 100% of my commissions. What are you getting?
Yeah.
And then she'll say, like, would you have an issue if my broker gives you a call? If that's something you're interested in. If it's not, it's okay. My company is not the right fit for everybody.
Yeah.
I'm just looking for those pieces of the puzzle that want to be involved with what I'm doing to help them maximize their income.
Okay.
So
So
they warm up the call, and if they don't, and I call up the agent and say, hey, this is James Hamby, the first thing I'm going to say is, hey, congratulations on having a closing with Cindy, and I hear it went really well, and she said that you're absolutely a dynamic agent. Now, you may know about my company, you may not. Most people don't know what they don't know, right? And so if that's the case, hey, let me spend just a few minutes with you, sharing with you why we are growing, why we're becoming one of the largest independent firms in the state of Georgia. Let me share that with you. And if it's of interest, we'll continue moving forward. If it's not, I'm going to wish you the best and look forward to co-oping with you again in the future.
yeah.
Does it sound like I have that verbiage down?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. A little bit. And I think it's natural though. And I also appreciate your directness, right? You're getting there. I mean, most agents are busy, right? We're busy being busy. And at the end of the day, it's a quick call. Congrats on the most recent closing. Had raving things to say about you.
Mhm.
Now I would like to have a conversation with you about what we look like. If you haven't heard about us, you need to know about us, know what you're saying no to.
Absolutely.
And then if it doesn't, that's okay. Like I look forward to our next call. So you've really done 3 things. You wrapped up the call. From
Yep.
there, you have a direction on where you're going.
One more caveat is that I want to also lead the conversation with them that says, you may not be ready for a change right now, but if you ever get ready to make a change, I want to be that first phone call,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because some people, everything's about timing. They may not be ready to move right now.
Yeah.
But 6 months down the road, they may be ready. And that's okay.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So when they're ready, I'm ready. It's like Delta. I'm ready when you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I do convey that. So that way I take all that pressure off of them. I don't want it to be a pressure environment. I want it to feel good. When the agent comes over, I want them to love the fact. And likewise too, and I want to say this to where all brokers are concerned. When an agent has decided to make a move, let them move with integrity and respect. Don't make them feel like they're stupid and demean what their decision is, because a lot of times it is a business decision.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times we make agents feel bad, and we should never do that. An agent is an independent contractor, and if they want to make a move and try something, hey, I've had agents leave. I've had agents leave and then come back.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't ever get emotionally attached to that.
Gotcha.
Right?
Yeah, that's important.
It is important, and I think that's why if I let an agent leave, and I always tell them, hey, if it doesn't work out, my door's open. You're always welcome back.
Yeah.
Right? And
Never burn a bridge. Yeah.
Can't burn a bridge unless they do something really stupid.
Yeah.
Use the word dehire, you have to dehire them.
Yeah.
But for the most part, people hear about things and want to go try it out. Sometimes the grass is not greener on the other side.
Yeah.
And when they get over there and they realize that I miss being with James and Southern Classic, we're getting back over there.
Mm-hmm.
And it happens. But it's okay that they do that.
Yeah. Well, James, thank you so much for being on the call today. Like, I think it's been so good, and I'm going to wrap it up because you said this actually on a conversation we had before. Just engage in relationships daily. That's how you're building relationships with your people. Whether it's in person, whether it's on social media, community events. I love your sense of humor. You can't get a little bit pregnant, right? You can't get a little bit pregnant. So you got to go all in, right? If you're going to do this and you're going to build through relationships and turn, ask for referrals from your agents, you've got to be in relationships. So I think that's really important. Also, I heard today, just making sure that you're direct, you know who you're looking for, and you can communicate that to your agents. So when they're doing a cross sale, they can have their, just be aware. They can be aware. And then asking them when they find that person that does make sense, that they want to be in relationship with, that could join the company, you help prep them to warm the call up so that it's smooth, right? So it's a smooth transition versus just a real cold call. And even if it does turn into a cold call, you've got the 3 different really conversations in that script, words that you use on that call.
That's correct.
That's a good summary of today.
I think it's wonderful.
That's good. Well, hey, this has been a really fun call. James, thank you so much for coming on and pouring into our industry. Referrals through our own agents, the referrals through the relationships that we build is so important. Now, James, if somebody wants to get in touch with you, I know we're going to put a bunch of show notes in here and they're going to be able to connect with you that way. But your website, that's a good place to find out more.
It's a good place to start. Yep. Southern Classic Realtors. You can click on careers. It's got about us. Join SDR. It's all there on our website.
Okay.
And that's probably the easiest way to get me.
Right. Well, that is awesome. Again, James, thank you so much for being on the show and pouring into our industry. We'll catch you later.
Thanks, Dan. Nathan, I appreciate it.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Broker to Broker Real Estate Podcast. If you like what you heard, make sure you subscribe to the channel. For more information, tools, and resources, go to www.brokertobrokerpodcast.com. And always remember, be you and be real. We'll see you on the next episode.